Well, it's pretty bloody clear that this fidget spinner craze has taken over the internet. And all I can think about is, god damn it, I want one. So in exchange for my hard-earned money, I got the most basic ass spinner. I'm so underwhelmed. But when life gives you lemons, you've gotta make a freaky ass fidget spinner. Yeah, I don't know. But if you want to see how I made this bad boy, then keep on watching. This is Polymorph plastic. It's a thermoplastic with a melting point of about 60 degrees Celsius. And by melting point, I mean that it softens down to a putty-like consistency, making it easy to mold things with. I'm using it to make the teeth and the eyeballs for my fidget spinner. For the eyes, I'm rolling balls and then flattening it on the table. And for the teeth, I'm stretching out the polymorph and cutting it into shape. Then using my alcohol activated body paints, I'm going in and painting the teeth to make them look not as white, and painting some of the details on the eyeballs. For the flesh on this fidget spinner, I'm using air hardening clay, just because I feel like they get beat around a bit, so I don't want to be using scar wax or anything like that. I'm then using the clay to make a thin layer over the whole fidget spinner, covering all the holes except for one, which I've decided to leave open for a mouth. I then start to carve the mouth, adding a lip around it to build up the edge, and then digging around the hole, making it look all fleshy and gross. For the tongue, I am rolling a sausage, flattening it out and putting little dints in it to represent little taste buds. And then I'm putting it in the mouth and placing the tongue where I would like it to sit. I then made a nice deep cut for the centerpiece and some stitch marks. And then I'm going in and making some detail lines around the mouth. Using the eyes I made earlier, I'm pushing them into the clay and creating some eyelids around them, making sure that I blend the edges and keep around the spinner center clear. Otherwise, it won't spin. And then I'm just placing eyes in random spots, making random cuts. I didn't really have a plan for this, I kind of just went with the flow, see what looked good, and I think it worked out okay. Seriously though, don't worry if your sculpting skills aren't up to scratch. Mine definitely aren't, and if I can do it, I'm pretty sure you will be fine. Before you finish sculpting, make sure you clear the eyes of any clay. You don't want them looking muddy and gross. And don't forget to draw some fine lines and wrinkles around the eyes and the cuts that you have made. Adding small details like this makes the skin look more believable and far more interesting. I also chucked on the teeth at this point just to get a rough idea of where I wanted each tooth to be before I painted it and glued them on. Ya feel? Make sure it spins fine before you leave it to dry, and you're done. That part anyway. For the base coat of the spinner, I am using acrylic paint and just mixing up a flesh tone colour that is pretty similar to my own. And then paint the whole thing, making sure you keep clear of those eyes. I then made a blood colour and filled the cuts and the mouth with that. I also added white to it to make the colour for the tongue. Then using a bunch of darker reds and blacks, I went over all the cuts and the tongue, kind of shading and adding some more dimension. And then I started to add those teeth. I just used super glue, but you could probably get away with using latex or eyelash glue. Using my alcohol activated paints, I dabbed on some other skin tones that were a little bit different to what I had already put down. This just adds a little bit more texture. I then went in with the European Body Art Blood. I've never used this before, but oh my god, it is amazing. It dries wet and is waterproof and sticks to everything. So good. But basically I just added that to every wound and the mouth. I also spread it around the wounds because I like it messy. Okay? Just make sure that you don't go too over the top with the blood because it will be very easy to lose all the work that you've just put in. I'm then going over the eyes, the teeth, the mouth and the tongue with a glossy top coat nail polish just to add shine to those features. I then dabbed some irritation pink around the edges, glued the stitches into the wound on the top, and then called it quits because I'm freaking done. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting another video very soon. Stay weird and I'll catch you later. Bye.